What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, we got some reverb. Hello. Okay. Professional streamer. Just kidding. National anthems are going on now, guys. I will be on your screen shortly. It's the last quarterfinal of the day. Cuba takes on the Dominican Republic, who's in white hot form. Cuba looking very strong in the group stage. Who will win the final World Cup slot for CONCACAF? Don't forget to check out the poll. List who you got early for bragging rights later. Who are you cheering for in this final quarterfinal of the day? Whoops. Almost there, guys. Just updating our score bug. Right. Yo, how's everybody doing? We are looking at lineups now. The players are headed toward the court. Taking some photos. Yes, we were there the day that Team X beat Team Y. Guys, crazy day of quarterfinals. You knew it was going to bring out the best of everybody because World Cup slots were on the line. Crazy to think about. First of all, a quarterfinal is typically pretty intense anyway. You're working your way through a tournament, it's do or die. But then you have to start thinking ahead to a World Cup. It's quarterfinal time, but it's all about those World Cup slots. So today was pretty wild, I would say. Some predictable results in a lot of ways, but also some really intense games. We'll talk about it as we go. But man, I was no shortage of drama today. Canada so close to knocking off the champions today. That was crazy. And then, of course, the United States doing what they've done all tournament, and that's showing up only for minutes at a time and really not acting like they want to be there. So a lot of disappointed fans on the United States extended national team's social media accounts airing their frustrations, particularly those who remember better times just a couple of years ago. So curious to see how USSF or US extended national teams or uh, one of the FIFA or United States soccer sanctioned youth programs push their politics to decide who's going to lead us into the future from here, or do they stick with Hewerton? In all honesty, he's not had a lot of time at the helm. Could have been part of the problem, but he seemed to win over his head to me in this tournament. We are underway. Cuba's starting off with some high pressure, and they've already got a shot off on goal, but it's wide. This is going to be a really great game. I'm really excited for this. I'm actually having a hard time picking a favorite for this as well. I mean, Cuba going into this tournament was someone I picked to claim one of those slots, one of those World Cup slots. I thought they would be one of two potential teams to get this fourth position. But the Dominican Republic has shown up in a big way for this tournament, and they've been white hot. So we'll see if they have another upset and claim another scalp, and then punch a historic ticket to the World Cup. Anybody else catch the games today? What'd you think? Get our score bug up here. And I need to update our little banner too. We can put the scores up for today. And that way, as we're talking about it, you guys got a reference for it. Let me see. Cuba with an early goal. 18:36 on the clock still to go. So we're not even 2 minutes into this thing. A great individual effort to open up the middle, burn the keeper, put him on his butt. Wow. Great shot. Cuba opens up the account for this quarterfinal. I got these backwards compared to the stream from CONCACAF. I don't know if that's going to bug you guys. If it does, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just change it at halftime and let it ride. As long as the score is right? Correct? Did anybody catch the Canada match today against Costa Rica? That was wild. I thought Canada had it. I really did. Momentum was definitely in their favor. Wow, more pressure from Cuba here, guys. Wow, they are looking very dominant to start this thing off. And the Dominican just can't seem to get out of their own half right now. Whoops. There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah, this Cuban side has been very consistent, very strong all tournament. Um, I actually got to catch a couple of their games a few months ago when they faced Costa Rica in friendlies, and they looked really strong in those as well. So I always expected them to do well in this tournament. But the Dominican Republic has been a welcomed surprise for me. They've been very, very good. And on day one, when I started going through their roster, I didn't realize how much quality they had in the roster leading up to this tournament. Several guys playing in Spain, several guys also in Italy, one in France, and then both their goalkeepers are actually playing in England right now. England's futsal scene is interesting right now. There's seems to be a big surge in content creation. In fact, here, let's do this with the camera here. There we go. That looks a little better. Is the banner working for you guys? Are you seeing the scores I put down there? I don't think you are. But it's been an absolute joy to watch this Dominican Republic side. They have been stunning. High octane, great offensive presence. I mean, it's been really enjoyable. I love it. And with them coming out of a group where I was watching my United States kind of just be there, almost look like they had to be there. They didn't want to be there. It was refreshing to see teams like the Dominican Republic and Canada really putting up a fight and playing for what's really on the line here and taking it serious. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. More, please. Looks like the Dominican has started to relieve a little bit of pressure. They still aren't controlling the game. They definitely need to get their hands around this thing, or Cuba's going to start to just beat them down. Got my mate again tonight, guys. Any mate drinkers out there in the chat? Is that going to start an argument? Sticks versus no sticks? If you know, you know. And I don't want to hear anybody talk about my Stanley mug. All right? This is like an old school camping Stanley thermos. This is not a basic white girl holding my cafe latte in the morning on the way to work Stanley, okay? So don't even type it in the chat. I don't want to see it. I will laugh if I see it. We're pretty laid back here if you guys haven't figured it out. I'm going to send a quick message out to Luke and harass him. I think one of the things I've liked the most about this Dominican side is that no matter what's going on in the game, they don't let up. The only time I really saw a lull out of this team was when they were playing the United States, and they got up so comfortably. It almost looked to me like they were practicing other strategies, not necessarily letting up the pressure, but trying things they weren't particularly comfortable with because they had so much room to breathe in that match so early on. And the U.S. didn't look particularly interested in testing them out. They did get it back within one on paper, but Dominican Republic was definitely the better team that game, and they deserved the win, and they got it. I think a lot of people went into this that maybe don't know what's going on with the United States and the internal politics of U.S. soccer and how it relates to futsal. Went off of how we performed a few years ago and assumed we would do very well. But the reality is, we have regressed substantially because we've gone back to the old ways of arena soccer players on this court, and it showed. They played like arena soccer players. They didn't play like futsalers. Way too static. And then, unfortunately, our true futsal players, a couple of them were off this tournament. They just didn't look like themselves. So that's unfortunate that they couldn't figure out their groove. So our guys that know the game can't get in a groove, and the rest of the team around them don't know the game to play it properly. So I'd say the fact we made it to the quarterfinal with this squad is actually kind of a success story. We probably shouldn't have. I really like this arena. I think I've mentioned it in a couple of the other streams, but I love the character of this place. I'd imagine that open air concept is a little difficult on the players. Because I was looking up the temperature in Nicaragua, and it is not chilly. It is very hot. A lot of back and forth at the moment between these two teams. If you're in the chat and you want to join along, feel free to chat. I will respond to the comments. I'm here to partner with you guys while we're watching the game and enjoy this. And maybe you're sitting home alone like me watching the game and just need somebody to chat with, talk futsal. Maybe you just need to get something off your chest from this tournament. A lot of that going around in the US right now. Maybe you're Canadian and you just want a shoulder to cry on with that really close call today. Maybe you got skin in the game for this one and you want to tell me why we're going to be so dominant today. Tell me why your team's going to win. I'd love to hear it. Great little set piece by the Dominican there. It looks like that's a real nice, legitimate opportunity. Interesting. Cuba steals the ball away there and saves it from going out of bounds and just launches it the length of the court. Go Dominican counterattack here. Nice shot, but not enough. And a lot of excitement today. That Costa Rica and Canada match. That was such a traumatic ending too, with that red card in the last minute and a half. Really unnecessary red card. Really killed all the momentum for Canada. Felt like they were going to make the comeback, and you're playing a man down for the rest of the game. It's just definitely let his teammates down on that one. Almost Dominican Republic. Yes, and the king. I give them a slight edge in this game. I know they're losing by 1 right now, but at the rate they've been playing, I feel like they could do anything right now. This is a strong roster. So many of these players playing in Europe. And it looks like they're starting to get some control of this game, which is interesting. Bit of a momentum swing here in Dominican's favor. They just can't quite seem to get a shot off that's challenging the Cuban goalkeeper just yet. You know what's interesting was Costa Rica was up 3-0, doing what the defending champs do. They looked very consistent. They looked very good. But Canada just never let off the gas and eventually flipped that momentum in their favor. And as they're fighting to win and knock this pedigree team off their pedestal, an emotional shove off the sideline for a second yellow that turned into a red card for Chamel. And just like that, Canada's playing a man down. Makes you wonder what could have been. What could have happened if he wouldn't have just he would just tuck that arm in, not gotten so emotional, especially over something fairly simple. It's not like there was anything venomous going on and or anything dirty going on the sideline, just some frustration and a shove right in front of the official. It's a real shame. This Canadian team had a lot to play for. They were really exciting. I think they could have done a lot in a semifinal match as well, and they would have been fun to watch at a World Cup. It had a chance at their first ever World Cup berth. And that was a real pivotal moment. Pretty physical game so far. Not out of control, just physical. I like it. Futsal can be so beautiful that way. There's the finesse plays, there's the physical plays, there's the passing team plays that are so beautiful that find a back post, and then there's those individual efforts that lead to absolute rockets off of the foot. You can barely see them on your screen as they hit the back of the net. Something for everybody in futsal. It's so exciting. I love it. Dominican seems like they're in a bit of a groove now. Certainly still back and forth with Cuba. Great effort by both teams. It's been a grind. Middle of the court grind. Hey, Diego, thank you for the sub, my friend. Appreciate you being here. I see someone else subbed as well, but I can't see what your name is. I apologize. YouTube's got some goofy settings with that. It's not like Twitch where I get a notification name for every person. You can adjust your subscriptions to be private or public, and that sometimes dictates what the YouTuber sees. But just know I appreciate all you guys being here and being a part of this community. Trying to build a futsal community here on YouTube and take kind of a different approach to futsal than what other YouTubers in futsal are doing right now. This channel doesn't really do the highlight reels. We don't do the over edited videos of games that aren't professional that we're claiming are professional. No hate to those people. They're doing what moves the algorithm. I don't blame them. But this is a little more informative and laid back, semi-serious, and just kind of for fun. I like it for the opportunity to network with you guys and learn more about futsal myself too. I've got plenty to learn. And both teams still looking for complete control of this game. No one's got it just yet. But it doesn't feel frantic. Oh, great little. Oh, it ended up going out of bounds. That was going to be a nice little play. All right, corner kick for Cuba here. Man, this is very back and forth right now. Ooh, very nearly for the Dominican, but the Cubans did a great job getting a foot in and stuffing that out. This is a tight poll. I think this is the tightest. I think this is the tightest it's been the entire tournament that we've been streaming for what we've streamed for, and done these polls. Cuba with a slight edge on the Dominican Republic in the chat. All right, we got a timeout here for the Dominican Republic. 5:34 on the clock for those of you that can't see the live stream. Yeah, with the exception of that USA Panama game today, which was a little dull. Maybe it just felt dull because I was on the losing side, but it's been a really exciting several matches today. If You guys see the Guatemala versus Mexico game? First 5 minutes, there was what, 6 goals or something like that? That was insane. Just out of control. Goals galore. Wow, impressive. Dominican held on to that under some very intense pressure on the sideline. Were able to reset their play. Very cool stuff. I've really been liking is it Uriel? Is that how you say his name? Guys, correct me in the chat if I get this wrong, please. I'm not afraid to be corrected, and I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Number 10 for the Dominican Republic. I know he plays for Pinocho in Argentina. I've seen him play before down there, watching their live streams. But he's been very noticeable presence for me and has seems to be really good. Great shot by Cuba, but just over the bar. Oh, this is a great angle. Really good stuff. Rolling foul against the Dominican there. Huh. I didn't see what that was. Oh, that's a great little feed. Yeah, goal for Cuba. That's 2-0 for Cuba over the Dominican Republic. Great little back heel. Number 10 for Cuba sees he's not going to be able to keep control of it, so he lets it run off to number 13 is the goal scorer. That is Diego Ramirez. Looks like he plays for Ribaroja in Spain. He does not miss. He slots it home. Smart by Martinez there to just get out of the way and let the ball continue to flow. Otherwise, I don't think that's a goal. Still a lot of time in this thing. Wow. You can just see the confidence in the way that Cuba's playing now that they've got this 2-goal lead. But again, one of the things I really like about this Dominican side is they're facing some adversity here and they're hanging on and they're sticking to the game plan. They're not getting shy. They're not sitting back. They're doing what's been working for them. Resetting way back to their own side for Cuba here. Looking to stretch these guys out, it looks like. Oh, that was costly. And it's a goal for the Dominican. Oh, the interesting decision in the back for Cuba. And it's an easy turnover. And number 13, Juan Rondon, opens up the scoring account. Cuba's number 13 waited just a little too long to try and find a pass to the middle. Oh, excuse me. Javier Pepin is number 13. He's listed as number 12 on my cheat sheet, which is obviously incorrect. So Javier Pepin gets the goal. Great steal in the backcourt and does not hesitate. One touch to smooth out that ball. One shot. One goal. Beautiful. What does this do to the momentum of this game is the question. Really good stuff. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half, guys. Dominican Republic's going to need to be careful. They're on 5 fouls with 2 minutes to go. Don't want to give anything silly away here. You're getting some momentum. Don't give it right back. Great pass there by Cuba. But just as good from the Dominican. They kind of tighten up the defense there, make sure nothing can come of it. I knew this was going to be a good game. When I saw this was going to be the late game, I was so excited to do the watch party for it. This is exactly what I was hoping for and what I expected. I think we got a timeout here. Yep, sure enough, Cuba with the timeout. Minute 26 to go. They're going to have a thoughtful approach to the end of this match. Or half, I should say. Yeah, well done, both teams this half. Really entertaining. All right, here we go. We're back underway. This is great. High press from Dominican. Not letting Cuba settle in. Cuba ultimately retaining the ball at the moment. Oh, great effort there. Just So if you guys couldn't see that, number 2 for the Dominican Republic saves the ball from going out of bounds. It was a bit of a wild ball heading towards the touchline. Hit the Cuban bench. He has a very nice touch to keep that in. cross, a very dangerous cross across the mouth of the goal, but Cuban defense was ready for it. So the drama continues. I don't think that my banner's working across the bottom for you guys. I apologize for that. I will attempt to fix it here at halftime, which is nearly upon us. 15 seconds to go. Looks like Cuba's going to hold this out. They're just passing in their own half. The Dominican side staying patient. Good shape. And that's it. Cuba couldn't find a way out of the back. And they hold a 1-goal lead at halftime, guys. What'd you think about that first half? Plenty of action, even though the score line doesn't quite look like it. Oh, I'm sorry. I never updated the score bug. It is 2-1 at halftime, not 2-0. Man, oh man. This has been a really good match. I'm loving it. This is what futsal should look like. It's a grind, physical battles going on all over the court. Incredible. Incredible. All right, where is my ticker? Here we are. Maybe I just need to reset the whole thing. Hang on just a second here, guys. Let's try that. Oh, you know what it is? It's too low. Duh. I think I need to. Aha. What in the world happened here? I see. Guys, really exciting first half there. As things wrap up in Nicaragua, we have a really good match to close out the night. Thank you for being here with me to watch it. I sure do appreciate it. Good crowd in here tonight. Look at all you beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. We are rocking and rolling. It is Cuba 2, Dominican Republic 1. As we look to see who wins the battle for the final World Cup slot for CONCACAF. I mean, it has been nutty today. With the exception of one game, it was a little bit of a drag. Did I fix the banner? No. Womp womp. My YouTube experience is showing, guys. I apologize. See this thing right here? There should be a cute little list of games down there scrolling for you, and it's not happening. Aha! Oh, the magic of live streaming right in front of your eyes. What'd you guys think? Huh? Live IT right there for you. Did you unplug it and plug it back in? That was the answer. Luke! Ah, yes. Luke's in the chat. What's up, man? Just making dinner and eating, and I'll join you. Awesome. Hey, looking forward to it. Luke's a regular on the channel, guys. If you're new here tonight, so he'll be joining. We'll probably complain a little bit. Not gonna lie to you, because we're both Americans and we got to talk about this mess we got that we brought to Nicaragua to show the world. But as for the rest of you guys, we're gonna make sure we keep it fun, and we're gonna try and focus on. Not try. We will focus on the game at hand, which is Dominican Republic and Cuba. Jose McKinney, welcome to the chat, man. Let's go, DR. Man, DR's looking good. DR's looking good. This is a tight game. It's still got everything to play for. Sucks CONCACAF stream is not available in DR. Jose, is there a geo block? Is it not on YouTube? And my follow-up question is, do you have a VPN? Because it is not available in the United States either. But if you have a VPN and you set it to Mexico or any country off the continent, then you can get it. Yes, there's a geo block. Oh, so it's not just us. I was wondering why Mexico had it available on YouTube and not us. Interesting. Man, that's a shame. I have a VPN, so I'll change it. Yeah, yeah. Try Mexico. I'm on Mexico on my phone right now. That's how I'm watching it, and then I'm streaming locally here on, of course, on my local US server. So that way, stream quality is still good for you guys. Because one of the things we ran into, Luke and I were trying to run everything off of one PC through a VPN. Our computers thought we were in another country, and it was lagging our stream down because it was feeding through a international IP and back through. So I've got the game on a mini screen, and I'm watching you guys, the fans, on the big screen here on my YouTube screen. So, yeah, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna keep doing this watch party. A lot of people showed up for this one. I'm loving it. Looking at the analytics for the first half here, and a lot of people coming through. We appreciate you being here. A lot of votes in the poll. If you guys haven't sounded off on that yet, let me know who you think. Let me know who you're cheering for. Who you got? I want to know. Yeah, Jose. So if that's I know a lot of people watch on mobile. So if you have to leave us to watch the game, I would do the same thing, honestly. So I appreciate you passing through, and hopefully I can help at least ultimately get you to the game. And hopefully we see you in the chat as the game goes on. If you can pop back and forth. If not, we understand. Yeah, Luke, I know, man. This is a hell, and it's halftime. This is when the viewership's supposed to be down. We got a nice little crowd in here for a watch along on a small YouTube channel. This is big numbers, guys. Thanks for being a part of it. Hopefully you guys stick around. Hey, listen, if your team makes it through, or even if they don't, and you want to hang out and enjoy some CONCACAF futsal, I will be doing the same thing. We'll be doing a watch party for both semifinal matches and the final. So if you guys, I hate doing the stereotypical YouTube shout out, but if you subscribe and turn on the notifications, and we'll be around. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Uh, those call outs are, you hear it on every channel. I hate saying it, but we will be here. Is what I'm trying to say. We will be here if you guys want a buddy to watch the games with. That's what Luke and I are doing here. We also have a Discord. So if you guys would like to join our Discord community, we got a small little community there. Oh, Luke. Oh, I did miss it. I'm sorry. How about Jonathan Hernandez? Man, what? Jonathan with Let me look here. Let me pull this up. I think I missed his. He had a crazy goal, didn't he? I'm trying to backtrack to the highlight here. And that's not the first time, Luke. He had a couple bangers in the last group stage game too, didn't he? I think he did. Because didn't we talk about that yesterday, or was that 2 days ago? He had three, so he had he had a hat trick. Okay, I was gonna say I know we've talked about him. I've scrolled. I'll be honest with you, dude. I've scrolled through this roster so many times that now, like, my eyes cross a little bit. Like trying to remember. Jonathan, hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for sticking around, man. Hey, now's the time to do it at halftime when there's no action, too, you know? We can just banter, hang out. I got my mate. Although I might need to reset this thing. I think it got a little waterlogged and now it's packed too tight. All I'm getting is cold water out of it. Oh, yes. Luke, that Guatemala game, that first 5 minutes. So I was this may not make sense to some of you guys if you're new to the chat, but we have some friends from other countries here that we've interviewed. So if you're new to the channel, a lot of what I do for content is videos about just events that are going on in futsal, just news, hence the name Futsal News. Um, or if there's something interesting we want to cover, we try to do it. I try to average weekly videos, but then we also do live streams at least once a month where we try to interview or cover a ton of topics at once a month. And one of the people we interviewed last year was one of the pivots for Northern Ireland's national team, and his name is Darius Ruhi. And I was chatting with him earlier today, and I just got done telling him how I was pretty sure Guatemala would beat Mexico to get that third slot for CONCACAF World Cup slot. And then I flipped back to the stream, and Mexico's got three. I'm like, whoa, we're not even 5 minutes in, and it was 3-2 or 3-4. And then Guatemala does what they always do, and they just lock it down. I mean, they do not panic about anything. They stick to the game plan. They're very organized. Uh, and then they just routed Mexico. But can we give Mexico some credit? Mexico looked good this year. They looked real good. I liked it. It's good to see. Good to see some healthy CONCACAF teams stepping it up this year. I thought Nicaragua looked good, even though they didn't get results quite their way. They got a lot of young guys in that squad. Um, Guatemala, no surprise how they're playing. They should play that well. Costa Rica, no shocker that they're playing as well as they are. Panama, not flashy, just consistent, reliable futsal. I mean, they locked it down today. Even with some of the antics from the United States, they locked it down. Yeah, beginning of that game was crazy. Yeah, it really was. Whew. That's before you came in, Luke. I was saying I think all the games except for that USA Panama game were really just high octane and really fast pace. And I think that Panama kind of matched US's pace a little bit today. They didn't look like their normal selves, but they just did a really good job of locking down the defense, which is something they've always been good at. They've always played really good defense. And I think they knew the U.S. wasn't going to put up much of a fight, and so they just sat back and invited the pressure and let them kind of fizzle themselves out. And that's exactly what the United States did. Sad and embarrassing. I don't know how close the rest of you guys follow futsal, or if you're just here because you're fans of the countries, but recently FIFA announced they're going to do an official ranking system like they do for the outdoor game. Right now, the ranking system for futsal is kind of unofficial or it's regional. And I just find that's kind of funny because it's just collective points over a long period of time. It's really not current. But watching this tournament, I've caught almost all the games. I don't mean to brag, but I've spent a lot of time on YouTube in the last few days. They, I'm tempted to just like set up all the teams on a chart and do a power rankings. Like, hey, these guys since 3 years ago are here now, and here's the teams who have dropped. And Mexico, Canada, this Dominican side, all major rises in skill and quality and just good, solid futsal. I hope that the youth in those countries are watching those games and falling in love with the sport like I have, and maybe following and doing it. All right, guys, looks like the players are coming back for the second half. I'm going to quickly feed the fish and get my food put away for the night. It's frozen food, so I really don't want it to perish or anything. But I saw how many of you were hanging out with me here. I didn't want to walk away for long. I want to spend it with you. I'm gonna leave my mic hot, and I'm gonna try and read the chat from a distance. Uh, and I'll try and keep an eye on the mic volumes and make sure that you guys can actually hear me as these guys are winding up. And then we'll set up this score bug and hopefully Cuba and Dominican keep me busy, and I got to keep bumping the score up on this thing. All right, guys, we're live. That happened faster than I thought. I got to work on my timing, don't I? So, second half is underway. Dominican with some early pressure. All right, that should keep them busy for a little bit. Okay. All right, guys, I'm running this to the freezer. I'll be right back, okay? All right. Here we go, guys. I'm locked in. I'm dialed in for the second half. Looks like we had a little bit of an injury there for the captain for the Dominican Republic. Like maybe a shot to the face or something.
Jake.
Luke is here. Hey. What's going on, man?
Not much. Our room actually works tonight.
I know. Makes you wonder what's going to go wrong.
Yeah, don't say that.
You're
Don't
right.
say that.
Here, let me waited.
Oh, I have my stream on, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're I see you're fluffing our number for the viewers, huh?
Well, I was following along and I ran out here, so.
No, I appreciate that. How was dinner?
Fast.
Oh, I just saw your message too. Sorry. I
No,
need
it's good.
no
It's
help.
good. No, you're good. Strange days, man. Like nowadays, my oldest has her license, so
Ooh,
she grabbed all the kids and took them to church, and here I am all by myself.
how about that?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. Let's see if I can move this score bug someplace that isn't covering up your beautiful
Why
face.
are we doing side by side anymore? I don't understand that.
I wonder if they changed. Look at that. There we go. Oh, figure it out.
If you just squish it, does it move me or does it just squish us?
Let me see. Oops. Lock that again.
Oh no.
What the heck? Background.
Oh, I got to open up our chat here so I can follow along too. Seems like there's a lot of people hanging out tonight.
Yeah, we got a good crew.
Nice.
Real good crew.
Who's everybody rooting for? Like, are people just neutrals, or are they rooting for Dominican? Or are they the Cuba fans? What's
Well,
going on in chat?
we got 27 votes in the
Okay,
poll,
okay,
and we're at 52% for Cuba and
okay.
48 for DR.
Wow,
So people are coming in and voting and leaving.
wow. Well, I mean that's fine.
No, this is yeah.
Yeah, and so I brought up Jonathan Hernandez, man. He's on a tear, like bagging
Is
them 3 goals, and now he's coming in getting a goal here.
crucial as well. I mean,
Right.
the game was pretty tight, but hey, this Dominican Republic side proves they don't quit for anybody. I love it.
I like that they've been tight all night. They, yeah, like you said, they're not giving up. They're being patient. They're waiting for their moment,
Yeah,
possibly this moment.
really great round of games today.
Right, right.
Really, really good.
Sad to see Canada bounce out, but I mean,
Oh
what we
man,
saw of Canada, like I said, be on the lookout next cycle. I think we're going to see big things from Canada and Mexico, and
yeah.
TBD on United States. And if you missed Jake's quote earlier today, he said, "United States arena soccer team just bounced out."
Oh yeah, if you guys want to see me be bitter on Twitter, you can follow me at Futsal Jake. That's where I include my internet smut to the rest of what's on Twitter. And yeah, I'm sick of calling them the U.S. futsal team because that's not what they are.
No,
So until they show us some respect and actually show up and play to represent the country we all love, then I'm not going to show them the respect to calling them a futsal team.
right.
And that's petty. And I acknowledge that it's petty. But damn it, I'm
Canada,
doing it anyway.
Canada brought futsal players.
Yeah, Canada looked beautiful in this
Yeah, they
tournament.
look good. They
They
look
brought a
good.
great crew. It was a thoughtful group of guys.
Right.
It was heavy with Quebec players.
Mm-hmm.
But they all came from really good teams in Canada that are competitors. And then meanwhile, we brought players from poor arena soccer teams.
Yeah, not even top flight soccer, indoor soccer teams.
Yeah, like what is the deal?
I don't know.
I saw Facebook was kind of a buzz with their final score post after the loss, and a lot of people, saying the obvious of. Sorry, I'm throwing away some mate here. If you guys are getting some rattling
Oh,
in
you're
the
good.
background, it was just, it's funny. A couple people saying like, "Oh, well, this guy's not the coach. US needs to hire a better coach." And
Yeah.
I actually replied, "I hate doing that because that opens a Pandora's box sometimes." But um, usually pretty reactive on social media. I don't do a good job of participating in it. But I actually replied and said, "Well, they had the coach and decided that the politics of one person were more important than quality and results."
Right.
And I just left it at that because, I mean, technically all we've heard is rumors, but we all know that there's one person that killed this program, and it's
Sure.
someone that claims to be a futsal person. That's the saddest part of it all.
Infighting. We are
Yep,
we are just rank with infighting from soccer to futsal to women's game. I mean, it's just a bunch
exactly.
of infighting.
It's not even just us. It's not like it's specific to futsal. It's a U.S. soccer problem.
Yeah,
And
in
we're not the
general.
only country with that problem. I know that, but
No.
England's got their own set of problems. Wales, it's a mess in a lot of places.
Right. It feels like some of these smaller countries, they're so small in comparison to the United States, that I think like just governing bodies, just it's easier. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's less chefs in the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what else? Like in the reality is futsal should be low budget for these FAs. There's not a lot going on.
Right.
Like the teams that have a lot going on are the ones that force stuff to go on. Like they actively go looking for friendlies. Like all the European teams actively look for friendlies and
Right.
do this thing. And the CONCACAF teams don't really do that.
Right.
So you could do a couple friendlies before this tournament with another CONCACAF squad and still keep it pretty low budget.
Right. Was it some plane tickets down to Costa Rica?
Yeah. If I was the US, I'd be looking for the best of the best in this region to tune up. I'd be calling to Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do something in Florida? Can we do something down there with you guys? What can we do?
Yep.
What can we do to make this beneficial for everybody? How many games do you
Plus,
want to play while you're here?
plus, we start beating the drum for futsal in the United States, playing friendlies,
Yeah.
packing out some stadiums, like shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yes, for sure. When we talked about it a couple days ago, is that would give something for these older kids to aspire to then too. We talked about the problem of losing kids in the United States at about 12, 13.
Yeah.
What if they thought there was an actual path to a national team that was legitimate?
Right.
Right now, there
Right.
isn't.
No. Well, I think there is, but it's so invisible. Like, how do you even navigate that?
Well, it's confusing too because the path to
Right.
international futsal in the United States is not futsal.
Oh, that guy just got spun.
Ooh, yeah. Holy moly.
He was spinning like a
Welcome to the
top.
show.
Number 6 for Cuba was spinning around, wondering what was going on.
Yeah, that red card for Canada was just so foolish too to kill their momentum. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just such a spur of the moment, just bad, bad timing.
Was that double yellow?
Yes, it was the second yellow.
Yeah.
So the guy's on a yellow card
Yeah.
and then shoves a guy for literally no reason.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like the guy was starting something. He wasn't even looking at the Canadian player. Didn't even know he was
Yeah.
there. He just bumped into him.
That sounds like an experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I get it. Adrenaline's high. These are hyper competitive people. That's why they're representing their country.
Mm-hmm.
The time. Oh yeah, Jose, that's on me. I'm not updating the time. I can if you want me to. We could try. We'll keep it close.
What do you got, about 1409?
Yeah. Wait a minute. There we go. It's probably not going to be perfect, Jose, but we'll keep it as close as we can.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Jose, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, love seeing you in the chat. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks.
joining us. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. All right. Hopefully this Mate's fixed.
Feel bad for Dameron kind of coming out with a stinker of a game. Excuse me, Dameron.
Yeah, depending on who you ask. I didn't think he did that bad. I think he had nothing around him to protect him.
Yeah,
like, he
not
was
him.
So exposed.
Not him, but the team. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, come out for a stinker game. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, he was a shining light in that game compared to. I think I made a comment somewhere. I don't know if it was on Twitter or if it was on one of the Facebook. It was on the Facebook page for the U.S. extended national team. He ran more than the field players.
What is that? We won't go down this path, I promise. We'll go there just a little bit. But
no, I already made a note, so let's just get it over with. So I made this note because I remembered it, and I said, I got to talk to Luke about this later. So there's 16:37 on the clock, and Luciano has the ball. and he gets tangled up with a Panamanian player.
Yeah.
But in the process, two more players are coming across to guard him, and he stumbles out of that challenge and actually has all three of the guys beat on his right side.
Yeah.
All he has to do is roll it once and shoot it with his left, and he's got a shot on goal. Instead, he stops and throws his hands up in the air and waits for a call. He's got a clear shot on goal and doesn't take it because he wants the call.
It seems so prima donna. It feels like a bunch of overpaid players. That's a
He's
great ball.
a diva. He's such a diva. I'm so sick of it.
You know
And
what
I
I
know
mean?
there's
Like,
people that are friends of the channel that know him and are fans of his, say he's a great guy. That may be the case, but dude, his attitude on the court to me is a liability.
well, when your attitude shows that much,
Yeah. And again, that's why I love watching. That's why I've absolutely loved watching the Canadian side. That's why I love this Dominican side. These guys, they hang in there, man. They get it going.
that's all I want to see. It's just some fight and some good old American spirit. Like we used to be the ragtag guys. US used to be whatever it took to get it done because we didn't have the talent. We 100% did not have the talent. You know what I
Well, and
mean?
I said this on a comment today too, I think on Facebook again, was like, it's one thing to not be as talented as the other team, but it's a whole nother thing to have zero heart.
Yes.
And that was the problem with the US side is they had zero heart.
Zero.
They didn't want to be there.
No. They were not interested. What's funny is they come out the second game and they play, you and I were both like, okay, maybe. And then they come out in the third game and play exactly like they did the first game. Like they didn't learn.
No.
I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get how you come to a tournament like this and not give it everything you have.
To travel away from your home and your family
Yeah.
for a week. I mean, I think those guys have been there since Wednesday, including their training days and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's up to
Wow.
Lan in the
Oh,
chat?
and there's the yellow. Okay, we're getting a little spicy now.
Yep, a little spicy. Welcome, Lan. Thanks for all the emojis.
Oh, Lan, hey, what's going on, man?
Is it Lan Win? I think that's how you say it.
Win? I think so. I think so. All right, I need to readjust some stuff here so I can do this clock. There we go. Okay. I think I'm back on track. Let me know if I'm not, Jose. 11:35, right? Is that what everybody has?
I'm at 11:28 right now.
Oh, you're a little ahead of me. Am I? Oh, I'm not. I'm 30 seconds behind on my stream. All right, I'll catch it up. Good practice for the NFPL.
Speaking of which, Sunday night.
Yeah, should I be doing this for the playoff games?
What's that?
Should we be doing watch parties? I wonder for NFPL.
Maybe.
I wonder if people would be interested in hanging out for that.
Maybe. I think we're gonna have an announcer for Sunday night.
That'd be awesome.
We've
All
been
right,
struggling with that.
I think I'm on. I'm within a second. And now I'm not anymore. Okay.
As long as it's close. As long as it's close.
Yeah, we're close. You guys will get the general idea. I'll do a hard fix once we get down the last couple of minutes.
So those of you who don't have the game on, it's been a pretty back and forth affair between DR and Cuba here. Pretty evenly matched toe to toe, both going within on equally hard challenges, both having equal amounts of chances on goal. But nothing really to shine here with a goal or a almost made, but we're getting close here. I think both
Kind of the
teams
same
are.
in the first half.
Yeah, I think both teams are cagey. I think both teams are just sniffing out that mistake that the other's going to make.
So much can be said about that with futsal too. Is it sometimes is a game of who made the least amount of mistakes.
Right. Well, like I told you, I mean, like I was talking to you the other day about this game is a game of transition. I mean, milliseconds from the very moment you lose the ball, what happens? Is you
Yeah.
capitalize on that very moment, on that turnover. I think we saw it in this game. He picked the ball with one touch and shot it with the next and scored.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He rolled it once, settled the ball, and then just put it top bins.
Yep. It happens that fast too, because that like, I mean, those types of transitions, because it's not a big court, there's not a lot of people, so those transitions have to be quick and you have to be on point, which the US did not do.
Yeah. They didn't care to even try.
No.
That second goal, Robert, I mean, obviously he didn't mean to, but the way it deflected off his arms was just a gift to that guy
Yes.
too. I mean, it was
He knew as soon as he did it, he's like, I
yeah,
sh
you could see the look in his eyes when it bounced off
yeah,
his arms.
yeah. He knew he should have palmed it away, but he didn't.
I love I love this. Here's another thing that says a lot about the heart of the teams that have succeeded here and the ones that haven't.
Mhm.
Is when you see a bench really animated like that
Right,
after every defensive play, Panama was on their feet every time they made a stop.
right.
And the US team was never their bench our bench was never on their feet except a sub.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to stand for.
Yeah, I just think
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just I'm with you. There was just such a lack and like
it's that body language and
mhm.
action that just it just highlights and exposes the whole problem.
I mean, so we talked about this earlier, but I kind of want to just talk about it again. Does this to you, let me see how I want to phrase this. Does this to you say a coach that can't inspire or a coach that picked the wrong people?
I think it's at this level it has to be a coach that can't inspire
Yeah.
because all these guys are fresh faces.
Right.
This is their chance to prove their worth to the coach.
Hmm.
It's a brand new cycle for this coach. It's the first real test. And this is how we strolled out.
Right.
Like this is how you showed up to play for this coach, in my opinion. If
Yeah.
it was look, I can only speak for myself and I'm not a professional. Okay. So maybe I want it more because it's a pipe dream for me that'll never happen. But uh if if I get called up by a new coach for a national team and it's my first shot on a national international stage, you better believe that I'm gonna come out guns blazing. Think about think about Pondeka
Yeah.
and the 2021 run. And
Yeah.
he was the he was voted the best young player of the tournament, and it's because
Yep.
he came out and just fought like mad. He fought like an uncaged animal every
Hmm.
time he went out on that court.
So much heart.
Yeah, it was all heart. And he had some skill to go behind it, sure, but a lot of
Sure.
it was just the fact that he had some passion and a lot of
Hmm.
energy and a drive. He was going to he was going to outwork whoever was guarding him no matter what, no matter who it was.
Such a fun tournament to watch with him in it.
Yeah. Some of the highlights they showed at halftime from the last tournament, all the US ones from last year look better than anything we did this year.
Right. Right.
Like not even remotely close.
No. I mean, I'd love to like just go through the game film and just pick it apart. Because and here's what I have to say is that like as a coach, how do you not see what's happening on the field and not do anything about it?
Well, and that's the other thing I'd argue that his I saw somebody defend him and I just respectfully disagreed with them and said, you know, our strategy was so one dimensional.
Yeah.
Like we rolled out the same two plays all four games.
Right.
So when Panama held us scoreless until the last what, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, might have been 3 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if they would have done any less than that, I would have said they must not have studied any film.
Right. How do you not
How
look at film
predictable.
too?
There was no backup plan. There was no strategy.
Mm-mm. And you can't tell me that
Ooh,
that
that was close.
the the missing Barato and Moretti made that much of a difference because I think in Dameron you have a as good a goalie. I really believe that in my heart. He's as good.
Yeah,
Younger,
I felt
as
pretty
good.
confident going into that match that Dameron would we would not feel the pain of Moretti being
No,
gone in that game,
no.
and
And
Barato
then
wasn't doing anything for us. I think
Barato to me is a
the benefit
facilitator at best. He's not a contributor.
no. It was a
Did,
benefit that he was suspended for that game.
did you see Mendez play at all?
Yes, and
Okay.
he was terrible.
Wow. That's
So
such a bummer.
Mendez, he played with that same intensity that we loved about him the first few games,
Yeah.
but he just was a drama queen the whole game. He could not shut his mouth against the other players. He was arguing with the referees the whole time and eventually earned a yellow card for it.
Mm,
He just like it was just foolish to a
right.
point that some of my friends in other countries texted me and were like, "This who's this number 6 guy? He's kind of." They thought very poorly of him in that game, and I was like, "Yeah, this is not a good representation of how he's done the rest of the tournament."
Again, that feels like foolishness from the player selection, the coach, and how he handled things and managed things.
There was a
I don't
huge
know.
lack of discipline in that squad, and that is definitely a coaching issue.
Yeah.
An entire squad shouldn't be that out of sync.
No.
Luciano really didn't show up for this tournament.
No.
Uh, and actually, you know who else I was a little surprised didn't show up was drawing a blank now.
Yeah.
Ventura Jr. Normally solid for us. You know, he's usually good for a memorable defensive mistake a game, but
Yeah.
that's futsal. Like
Yeah.
I've never held that against him. I've just some of our like I'll never forget when Costa Rica beat us in the final 3 years ago,
Hmm.
and he was doing this weird like basketball defense where he was waving his arms around and stuff, and the guy just wasn't falling for it. And he was backpedaling the whole time, so he just gave the guy a ton of space, and he shot and scored, and that was a game-winning goal.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I remember him for. Was like I don't know what that was, but he's usually rock solid for us.
Right.
Like, he's one of my favorite players in this squad this year, but he didn't show up. He was very average.
So speaking of U.S. players, so Gardelli, who just went down on that foul, playing up top for Dominican Republic, playing a really great job up front as a pivot, big man off the ball. I caught little of the game, but I did catch some of the game for the U.S. today. But I watched. I watched as they tried to pass into the pivot, and literally the defender could have walked in front of the pivot and just stole the ball.
Yep.
I'm like, what's going on? Like, how was that pass made? And how in the world did he not kick up any more fight for the player just to go around him? And I'm talking about Tayu. Just absolutely apathetic on the try, and I just did not understand. I'm like, sure, maybe it was a bad pass, but like as a bad pass, are you willing to at least get a foul to like break up the play?
Right.
And the guy just walked right in front of him. Like I
Right.
could not believe it.
You know, the other thing, like I've somewhat created a crutch for them in my mantra during this whole tournament in the sense that like these guys are playing arena soccer on a court.
Yeah, yeah,
It's that static. The ball will come to me. There's plenty
yeah,
of space. No one's around me. It sucks.
yeah,
But how do you not fight for every ball?
yeah. That's again,
Well, and a striker can do that in outdoor.
right?
They can let a ball just be turned over, and there's plenty of people behind them to make it up to them.
Yeah,
And you
and
can't do
yeah,
that in futsal. You got to be
yeah.
playing both sides of the ball.
That's right. 4 people playing outfield is not much. It takes
Ah,
all hands on deck, whole game.
ooh, that's a tough collision there. Getting intense now.
Down to
5:41 on
about
the clock. No
five
goals
forty
yet this
one.
half.
So again, I'll post this question to you, Jake, because I always do. When does Dominican Republic pull on the extra attacker?
Um, for me, sure we haven't had that really potent looking shot yet, but we're playing well. We're grinding it out with Cuba. We're limiting their chances. I think I wait a little longer this game before I fly the keeper. We're only down one.
Yeah.
I'm
So
thinking maybe
you're
if
taking
we're
your
still
chances.
here in like 2.5, 3 minutes,
Yeah, I was just about ready to say
because
3.
you got to have enough time to actually run the play a few times.
Right.
But also, like, this is it, right? It's win or go home. So
Hmm.
should they do it sooner? What do you think?
I'm horrible. I would make a terrible coach. I'll tell you this. I would make an awful coach because right now my thought is go for it
Yeah.
because it's win or go home. You get that goal and you tie it, and then you have time to go for the win. Or, you know, if you're having troubles with the extra attacker to get that goal, you have time to do it.
Yeah.
But then again, if I were a coach, I would make sure my boys are absolute wizards at
Ooh.
playing with the extra attacker.
Is this the counter they need? Oh, he didn't finish the back post run.
He's
Oh
he
no, he
pulled up.
stopped.
He pulled up.
Oh, that could have been the go ahead for Dominican.
So if you're not watching right now, far side of the screen, uh, they had a breakaway down the right hand side. Uh, two players streaking, one on the left. The ball was on the right. Guy played the ball in a 45 through to the back post, but the left hand side runner pulled up and went towards the top of the key instead of back to the back post, and the ball just runs out of bounds. So heartbreaker there for Dominican Republic.
Oh, now a counter for Cuba. Ooh.
Ooh,
That's their keeper is uh Javier. Or no. That
he got
is
a piece of that.
that's Jose
That's a
Perez.
fingertip save.
I believe that's Jose Perez. He plays in England for York.
Yes, I think I've seen him before. Good. Good from
York
Cuba.
is like how Michigan Futsal Factory used to be. Is like, yeah, you got the national team goalkeeper because that guy gets all the reps.
Right.
Like I remember thinking that about Robert Dammer. I'm like, yeah, well, for as much practice as he gets, he better be national team caliber. Jeez, they've cleaned that.
Wow.
They've cleaned that up a lot.
Ooh. Got some spice going on?
He right away pulled up though. I think he knew he did him wrong. He right away rose his hand as took ownership of that.
Yeah.
I think I wonder if for Cuba that's more. Let's try and draw some more emotion out of this and draw a yellow or an extra foul. Because Dominican now that's 5 fouls for them.
Oh, they
We
have
got
five
4 minutes
fouls
to
now.
play.
Oof. Not what you want.
They gotta be careful now. That's our 5th foul. Again, you got to play for it, right? You got to come up with something. You got to play physical. You got to do a game changing play, but sometimes that means taking risks. And when you give up a foul in a dangerous place like this, and then it's a 5th foul, that hurts a little.
Right.
It's not what you want. Here comes the 5th attacker.
Yeah, there it is.
So about 4 minutes.
Right. Oh,
Oh,
timeout.
pulled
Ice them. Ice
up a
them a
little
little
bit.
bit.
Oh, and I've left this clock running like a absolute fool. Jose, forgive me.
3:52 is where we're at. Not too bad. You're a minute off.
Yeah, it could be worse. I've done worse. Well, and this is where the minutes are important too. We want to make sure we keep this up now because
Right.
so how does this look for the semifinal matches? Do we know? Find
It's
that PDF.
Guatemala
Jose says
versus
it's all good.
uh Guatemala versus who we played, which was who did we play?
Panama.
Panama. Guatemala versus Panama.
I'm gonna have to like print this off at work and actually scribble in the team names.
I'm pretty sure.
So that means Costa Rica will face the winner of this.
I think so.
Okay. Interesting.
I think that's how it worked.
Costa Rica had their hands full today. Is there a chink in the armor?
Yeah, they did. They look like not the. They don't look like the unbeatable Giants.
No, they don't look that invincible right now.
Let me see if we can. Okay.
This whole timer thing was actually just a test. Jose was still in the chat. We're just making sure he's still here.
Calling you out.
all by design.
That's right.
I'm actually a great timekeeper in real life. It's been a fun group tonight. Appreciate you guys being in the chat. Ooh,
Ooh.
Cuba almost with the go-ahead goal to get that 2-goal cushion. So we saw the guy dressed for the 5th attacker, but we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he's still sitting down.
Oh, the downside to mobile. I got ads.
So Costa Rica beats Canada. Panama beats USA. Guatemala beats Mexico.
Ooh.
And if this holds, Cuba beats Dominican Republic. I'm pretty sure Panama and Costa Rica play. Guatemala and Dominican Republic play. Or excuse me, Costa
Guatemala.
Rica.
Yes.
No, excuse me. Cuba. Man. Guatemala and Cuba if this holds.
Okay.
I think. And so for sure, the Costa Rica Panama game is set for. Oh, it doesn't say.
I think one is at 6 p.m. local.
Yeah.
The first
6
match,
p.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard, which would be my time. And then 10. Man. It's good because that means I can actually stream the watch parties, but ooh, that's a late night for Jake.
Yep.
And
we're gonna have to be, well, no. The final is on Saturday, so we're good on that. But yeah, you're having some late nights here, buddy.
Yes. Saturday's the same. It's 6 local, 8 Eastern for the 3rd place match, and 10 p.m. Eastern for the other one. Oops, I did it again. I'm about 8 seconds off here. I can't believe they haven't flown the keeper yet after seeing them dress him.
Yeah. Well, maybe the 5 fouls came into play. They're fishing for that fifth.
I can't remember if we saw that before or after that 5th foul.
I mean, we're still at 225. Not bad. No, you're never gonna get that foul.
No, that's just good physical defense.
2v1. Oh.
That number 10 has definitely had an impact on all their games as well.
Right.
Oops. I'm only a second off. Yes.
Number 10 for Cuba. Pardon me. Sorry.
Great shot. There he is with a rocket.
Martinez Soto.
Look at that back heel. Oh, beautiful futsal.
Eduan Martinez Soto.
We're at 1:56 left on the clock.
Oh, the turn.
Another great turn. Cuba with a bit of a momentum swing at the moment.
Right.
Couldn't happen at a better time.
Jonathan Hernandez, man. I'm telling you, that kid's good.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I've been really impressed with him. Timeout Dominican Republic. Do they come out of here with their guy on the 5th guy on the court, I wonder?
You got to think they do it. He still got his bib on. Man. They must know something I don't.
I'd be curious what the coach sees that's dictating that decision of when to, because that's something that I don't have a lot of experience with, is flying the keeper and when to do it.
Right.
I'm curious what his thought process is, just to learn from it.
Well, if you're not super confident, I mean, that open net's an invitation to doom.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Is like if you screw up, you could just seal your fate.
Very true. You saw it happen to who was it that flew the?
Here it goes. Here we go.
Two more.
There's the keep. There's the attacker.
I mean, at this point, right? Less than 2 minutes.
You gotta do it.
They're actually playing this the way I would play it with 5 guys, so I understand this compared to when some other teams have done it. Looks Looks like they're trying to create some space, pull those guys forward, stretch this defense a little bit. So one thing I noticed right now is the Dominican is playing super conservative in this fifth attacker's position.
Yeah.
If that number 4, and it's easy to say from the couch,
You're right.
but if he just shifts his hips towards goal even like a few degrees, then that pass to the fifth attacker in the middle is suddenly open and available to him.
Right.
They got to find a way to penetrate here. And if you have your hips facing the opposite direction of the goal you're attacking, you're just never going to find that pass. Man, 40 seconds, 39 seconds.
You gotta make it happen, boys.
Right there.
Here's the thing when you're playing like this, like you can't rush it, but you gotta hurry. You want a
Yeah, but
good chance.
you can't sit on that ball for 1, 2, 3 seconds before you give it up. Like it's got to be pass and move
Yeah.
really fast way.
And this is tournament play. This is experience right here.
Oh yeah. Come on, guys. I would love to see a dream run from Dominican here.
Come on, boys. You gotta make it. Oh,
Play on the. I missed the play button on the score bug. Let me catch this up. We're at 9 seconds, guys. 9 seconds to
9-3.
go on this kick in.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay. Still a dangerous spot.
5.8. 5.8. Ball out on the side.
Holy smokes. This is tense.
See, this is where I get one of those Fabian plays going.
Yeah.
I don't see him run many plays.
It seems like a lot of it is set up prior to the kick.
Oh.
Oh.
That was a good chance. He touched it.
Oh, it is a corner. It's got to be a roll and shoot, right?
Nope, that's it. Game.
He killed it. Killed the clock. Good play by the Cuban defense there.
Cuba's good. You gotta give it to him.
They
I'd
deserve
love
it.
to see something from the Dominican Republic, but man, Cuba did well.
Well, and the Dominican, I mean, was just so impressive this whole tournament. And even this game, I know they lost, but God dang, they were so much fun to watch.
Right. Look how much it means to Cuba. Look how much it means to Cuba. Look at that.
Well, and they so severely underperformed in the last round
Yeah.
that this has got to feel like redemption to them, right? This is a long
Right.
time coming. This is 3 years of revenge futsal, playing the way they're meant to play. I love this. This is awesome.
Look how much it means to him.
Wow.
So now, Jake, everybody that's qualified, these 4 teams all go
Yes.
to Uzbekistan.
Their ticket is punched. No matter what happens the rest of this tournament. God.
So you're looking at your CONCACAF representation here. Your CONCACAF representation is Cuba, Costa Rica, Panama, and
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Last one, Guatemala. All well deserving. All well deserving.
Yes.
Oh, they're bombed. Dominicans bombed. Oh, they're super bombed.
That's gut wrenching.
You hate to see it. To me, keep your eye on Jonathan Hernandez. I like the way he looks.
Hey, there's a ton of upside for the Dominican in this tournament. Pulling some stats from the CONCACAF site. Going into today, they had the most goals. Guatemala now has overtaken them there. But I think they had 22 goals going into tonight. So they're 1 goal off. Most goals of the tournament, even with the loss. They're the highest goal average per game. It's 7.7 goals per game. I mean, they've had some really. They had the highest goal difference against Trinidad of the tournament, 11-1. This team really showed up.
So that was that was one thing I talked to you about earlier, Jake. Is competition on some of the games for the Dominican Republic was not the greatest, but there has to be something said for a team that comes in that hot. Like to score 11 goals is a thing against anyone. It
Yeah,
takes a lot. Um, so to me, I was wondering, with the hot streak, with the goal scoring streak, does that boost your chances to knock off a team like Cuba? Obviously, the answer tonight is no. Did they put
right.
up a good fight? Yes, they did.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this team was so much fun to watch and so inspirational.
Right.
I mean, I fell in love with this Dominican team actually watching them beat our United States because their drive, their passion, it clearly meant so much to them. That was a historic win for them. I mean, this was a good team, good mixture of they actually their team's a little bit older. I'm curious. This team's gonna have a much different look in the next cycle, I think.
Yeah.
So that's another curious thing is how do they make sure that this where do they build on this from here? How do they build
Right.
on this from here?
Well, hopefully they can, because I would love to see them back. I would love to see them coming back even better. I would love to see the
Yeah.
competition keep on going up, because y- competition is what makes people good.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
For sure.
scoring, not just blowing everybody out, but like you know, rising tide raises all ships.
Well, and then on the flip side, this Cuban team, these guys are kind of coming into their peak, in my opinion.
Right?
A lot of guys in their 20s.
Yeah.
The majority of the team is 23, 24ish. So what they're hitting their peak as far as probably ability. And then 4 years from now, when they're back and to have this experience, they're not going to be out of their prime, potentially on the tail end of it, but by average, what we see from athletes. But um, this Cuban side is going to be dangerous next cycle, I think, if they are able to retain this squad.
Well,
There could
here's
be a lot of
here's
turnover there.
here's the point when it's critical what you do in the off season from this cycle to next, to where you're bringing in young talent and exposing them to your veterans, and then showing the young talent how it's done. The veterans take the young kids by the hand, say, "Now listen, you're great, but you have a lot to learn, and I'm definitely here to help you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So they just flashed across the screen the official schedule, and I think you got it right, Luke. Um, Cuba will face Costa Rica, and Panama will face Guatemala. So that'll happen on what's today? Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow the 18th.
Tomorrow, then Friday off before the finals. Finals on Saturday.
Yep. Yep,
And
that's
there's
it.
been all kinds of action too this week. Uh, the Africa Cup of Nations has been difficult to follow because it's not as available as was advertised. But
Yeah.
I believe I have a screenshot because I wanted to make sure I shared this. Nope. Shoot. I know that Morocco, Egypt both got first in their groups. And then I believe it was Angola got second. So they'll face Egypt. And I think Zambia, if memory serves, will face Morocco. So that's going on at the same time. The Unlike CONCACAF, only 3 teams will represent the African nations. So we will not know our representatives for CAF until we know who won hardware after this weekend. So only medal winners will represent. So we still got some time there. Uh, the Asian uh, Federation started today, and I think they run through the 21st.
Let me
That's going to be a really good tournament. Those were
Let's
good
take a
games
look.
this morning already.
Yeah, let me share. So this is. Should I make it a little bit bigger?
Let me see. Can you? Yeah, that'll be good right there, I think.
Go up there. Okay, so I watched Thailand take on China Republic this morning when I couldn't sleep. Uh,
Yeah, you were up early
well,
or
I,
late.
I hurt my back moving, and it's just taking forever. So like at night it cramps up. It sucks. So,
Yeah, that does. That's awful. I think you read the score bug. There we go.
but but Thailand, man, they look tough. They look tough, and they have their sweetheart Mohammed Osama Man. Oh man, now I messed up his name. I had it. Osama Mansana. Anyway, it was funny because you're like, gee, I wonder if this is like their favorite player because they zoom in on him every single chance they got. The kid's good. He's older. Played for the Blue Wave there in Bangkok. I think they play in Bangkok or somewhere close. But trying to put in one goal. But man, you should have seen the quality from Thailand. It was a cross court long ball. The guy takes it looking over his shoulder off of his chest, settles it. I think he just one times it into the net. I mean, it was absolutely some of the best futsal I've seen in quite a bit. So these CONCACAF teams, they're going into this World Cup. I mean, we think we have it tough here in the CONCACAF, but man, the quality over there is huge.
Yeah, I think in the last cycle, CONCACAF did not get a single win across all teams,
No,
and I think the same thing's going to happen this year.
right.
Um, it is a tough field.
Yeah, Uzbekistan put 3 on Australia. Australia looked okay. Then Uzbekistan just poured it on, just showing their quality. Uh, what really interested, I thought I saw Saudi Arabia and Iraq playing. They don't have the points posted here. I thought I saw that game happen, but I guess not. Um, and Group C has not played yet. Jake, I think you're holding your breath to see, what Japan's capable of in this group.
Yeah, Japan has two major injuries. They're starting Pivo and they're starting Fixo are both out. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, so that's tough. But looking at the rest of this group, I mean, they should make it. They should coast out of the group. Free
Yeah.
Republic typically doesn't show very well. Krieg's Republic hasn't looked good in their friendlies. Uh, so it'll be curious. But Caminante in the chat, Guatemala did qualify already to the Futsal World Cup. Yes, they did. So guys,
Yes.
all the teams that are still in the CONCACAF tournament are qualified for the World Cup officially. So CONCACAF, the way that our bids work, uh, not a lot of bated breath. If you can make it through the quarterfinal, you know you're packing your bags in September.
Right. And then you
Iran
got
should
group.
win this group, no problem.
Right.
This group D.
Yeah. Not really seeing too much here, too much resistance. There are a lot of groups, man. Okay. Oh no, I thought there was one more. But this is a big field here. I mean, that's a
It
lot of
is.
countries.
Well,
But
remember, Uzbekistan is already in as hosts, so even if
sure.
they continue on, they're not doing too much damage other than they're tuning up.
I really want to see Australia versus some one of these other teams besides Uzbekistan.
Yeah. Well, Net's missing an update as well because Saudi Arabia and Iraq did play today.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and that's why I'm like interested because I thought this was up to date, and it is not because like I was saying, I saw Saudi Arabia and Iraq play,
That was the last
and
game of the day. I wonder if they just missed the update before everybody went home or something.
I think Iraq swatted Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, 3-1. I got to watch most of that game.
Yeah,
Scoreline really didn't do Iraq justice. They look pretty good today.
yeah, yeah, Saudi Arabia was not in that game.
I wanted to see that how Australia showed because they did a tune-up in a tournament before this and looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think
They
they held their own against Uzbekistan. I think Uzbekistan is probably pretty good.
I think 3-2 is pretty respectable. This Uzbekistan side has a lot of returning players, if I remember right, from the World Cup.
Yeah.
And this is a World Cup that took this is an Uzbekistan side that took Iran to a 8-9 nail biter in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. So this
Whew.
is a good team.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit older now, maybe on average compared to some of these other teams, but they're still very solid.
Tell that to Ricardinho.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The man does not know what age is. I'm here for
So
it.
there's your Asian AFC Futsal Asian Cup. It is streaming and it does not take a VPN.
Yeah.
You will have to be a zombie and stay up at night because they play very, very late at night. I think at 3 a.m. is when I caught one of the games.
I was joking with Steve Harris today because I mentioned how we needed a VPN for CONCACAF over the weekend, and he messaged me back and said, "Oh, how weird! We've got it here, no problem." And then I saw him post this morning that you had to have a VPN to watch AFC in Japan. And I said, looks like we flip flopped. I'll send you
Oh, how the
my IP if you send me yours.
oh how the turns have tabled.
Yes, exactly. Typical, typical.
Right.
AFC, we complain about CONCACAF, but AFC is arguably worse.
Right.
Um, well, they're close. At least they pretend like they want to do a Champions League contest. They just keep putting it off year after year after year. CONCACAF won't even advertise they're thinking about doing that. So
Right.
unless it's happening, I don't know about it, which is also, I guess, possible, but
So
likely.
Caminante, Caminante, are you a Guatemala fan? Are you cheering for Guatemala? What if so? What do you think their chances are facing up against Cuba?
Yeah, I'd be curious about that too. How you're feeling?
What's your feelings, Jake? What who do you have? Let's do this, Jake. Put you in the hot
We do a
seat.
predictions league.
Yeah, let's do it,
Okay.
Jake. Who do you got? Costa Rica or Panama? And
Actually, it's
in the other
Costa Rica
game,
versus Cuba
is it really? Did I get that wrong?
and Panama versus Guatemala.
Okay. Panama versus Guatemala, Costa Rica versus Cuba. Who do you got?
I think uh I think Guatemala beats Panama. They had a rocky game against the US, but it seemed like they cleaned things up today quite a bit. They look like their old selves and they were an absolute unit. And even when they're up against some adversity, whether it be high pressure, down a goal or two, like today they were down to Mexico early by 2 goals
Yeah,
and ended up thumping them. So they remind me of old school Olay where like nothing rattles these guys.
yeah,
There's no score line that's safe as an opponent. It kind of is how Guatemala plays. Is okay, you might be up 2 or 3 right now, but it doesn't matter because we're going to stick to the game plan and we're going to grind you out.
yeah,
Um, but Panama is going to probably be their toughest defensive opponent. I will say that. I think Panama is going to be their toughest defensive opponent so far in the tournament. So they got some work to do. Costa Rica, Cuba. After watching them play Canada today and seeing how their group stage games have gone, at first I thought Costa Rica's score lines in the group stages didn't really do them justice. But the more and more I'm seeing this tournament develop, I kind of looking at Cuba to upset Costa Rica on that side of the bracket. I think I'm going to pull for Cuba.
it's funny you say that because I'm in the same boat. I'm putting my bet on Cuba. I from what I've seen from Cuba and just what it means to them and the sheer grit and determination. I'm putting my money on Cuba all the way. By no means
Wow.
do I think it's
When
going to
you say
be
all the way, you mean first place, or you just mean for
yes
this game?
all the way.
All the way. Okay.
So I put Cuba as champions. I think they're going to beat Costa Rica. I think they're going to upset Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I think I like Guatemala. I'll take them. I'll take them in this next game. I think Panama showed well, but I think US should have beat them.
Hmm.
It easily should have beat them. Um, but Guatemala looks good, and they have a hot hand right now. But they're also very shaky at the exact same time.
So
Um,
if we're going all the way to the final, I'll just go ahead and take the other side and say I think Guatemala is going to win it. After I
really,
saw how they played today, so long as they keep that pace going, I think that they will beat Cuba. Cuba looks really solid, but their offensive output this tournament just hasn't quite been what Guatemala's been doing.
yeah.
So I think if Guatemala can grind them out and stick to their typical game plan, then and it looks like we're going to split the chat doing this. So Caminantes replied, "I'm from Guatemala, living in the U.S. I think Guatemala is going to play against Panama for semis. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, and I think they're going to beat. I think they're going to beat Panama. We both agree on that at least.
Yeah.
And then Ariana, Cuba, and a few flags there. Yes. Hey, I love it. This is what the chat's all about. I love
Right.
this. Yeah, I think that final is very realistic, though. We'll just see who picked the right winner.
Right. Right.
So, how about this? Let's see what happens tomorrow.
The reason I'm taking Cuba. Oh.
Oh, little
Yeah.
remix.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a little rubber band. we had a little rubber band there. Are we good now? Did we straighten out?
Sounds good to me now.
Did we
Yeah.
straighten out?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah,
think we're good.
that went really weird for a second. That went really weird for a
Now it's
second.
back.
Okay. Go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
I think we got the bounce back. It's not doing it to me, is it? Is it on your side?
I'm golden. Are you?
All right, now I think you're back. Okay. Caminante in the chat. Yeah, just consider how many goals Guatemala scored. Yeah, they've got the most goals of any team right now in the tournament. So that's why I tend to lead towards them. And they've kind of had a mixed bag of opponents, good and bad, I think, up to this point. Costa Rica, I think their group was favorable to them. You know, they had Haiti and Suriname in their group, which are not
Yeah.
typically performers in this tournament. Um, but I mean, they've got a tough. Costa Rica's had a tough route to the final though as well, so they're definitely going to be sharp. So yeah, I think maybe after tomorrow's streams, Luke, we need to if we picked our final right tonight, maybe we need to put a little wager on some kind of fun wager. I'll brainstorm on that.
Heck yeah.
Maybe somebody's got to wear something on a stream or something. I don't know.
my point to my pick, real quick before
Yeah.
we go, is that I see Cuba as a solid team. I like what Jonathan Hernandez is doing.
Yes.
I see Guatemala as a good team. I do. And I see them scoring a lot of goals. But from what I've seen from Guatemala, on the flip side of the coin, is the ability to crumble at times. I have not seen that from Cuba. I've seen them steady Eddie, and to me, usually in my book, from what I usually view of teams like soccer teams and futsal teams, is slow and steady wins the race. Teams that stick to a game plan, teams that don't get off put by things that happen during the game, they tend to come out on the better side of things. Now, could Guatemala walk away with this thing? Sure, absolutely, any given Sunday. But I do think that Cuba has the chops to grind it out and stick to a game plan and pull off the championship.
Guatemala's I can think of 2 games off the top of my head. Trinidad, actually 3. These last 3 games, they've started slow.
Yeah.
Trinidad Tobago, they went into the half down 2-0. USA, they weren't themselves the whole game.
Right.
USA kind of were their own worst enemy in that game. Otherwise, I think they would have lost that match, which would have completely changed the landscape of this quarterfinal, which is crazy to think about. That's how tight that group was. Do you guys know the chance of USA to qualify to the World Cup? Yes, we do know the chance. It's 0.
They deserve
They will not qualify. So Caminante, after today's results, we know our World Cup qualifiers. So everyone that won today earned their World Cup slot, and there will be no change regardless of results for the rest of this tournament. So your World Cup qualified teams for CONCACAF will be Guatemala, Cuba, Costa Rica, and Panama. So that is already a lock. USA is out, done, going home. They're watching the World Cup from their couches. So that's a done deal. Massive regression for the United States.
Big time.
Massive.
It's sad. It's super sad.
Epic failure for them. Now, to be fair, I think a lot of people felt that the United States overperformed in the last tournament to make it to the World Cup. And even the coaches felt that way going into the tournament. They did not expect to qualify for the World Cup. That's kind of some inside line from me knowing one of the coaches. Uh, they thought if they made it to the quarterfinal, that would be a success 4 years ago because there was basically no foundation to build on. And then this year, there was a foundation that could have been built on, and we decided not to utilize it. So,
Right.
real shame. We went from overperforming to underperforming very quickly. But yeah, this is still a good representation for CONCACAF, I think, though.
Right.
Uh, only the winners from the quarterfinal were the ones that qualified. So uh, that's why today was so important, even though it's a quarterfinal and not a
Mhm.
semifinal or a final where there's actual trophies involved.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about CONCACAF is this tournament is a grind because you have to get out of the group and then you have to win that very first knockout round. So that I think that's the big reason why today's games Caminante were so intense from a physical aspect of what you saw from the players and their output. Uh, how hard they worked today was because it was do or die. Your entire futsal international career for the year was at stake today. You either are traveling for the rest of the year or you're not at all.
Yeah.
So it put a lot
Ariana,
on the line.
Ariana, the score for the Cuba versus Dominican was 2-1.
Yes.
Cuba 2, Dominican Republic 1.
Dos a uno. Did I say that right? Please tell me I
Dos,
said that right.
dos
That's
a
such an
uno.
easy.
2-1.
Okay, thank you. I was going off Dos a Cero from USA to
2-0.
Mexico that we always chant, so I felt pretty confident in saying that one in Spanish.
2-1.
Dos a uno. Cuba is the winners.
Yep. Cuba, Cuba, Cuba.
Man, guys, the action today was so great.
Yes.
I appreciate all you guys coming to the chat and chatting with us and talking futsal. We really appreciate you guys being here. We hit 200 subs today.
Hey, let's
A little bit of a
go.
milestone for the channel, so thank you guys for being a part of that. Caminante, thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, my confidence is rising. Hey, I promise, guys. After this, I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna hop right on Duolingo. I'm gonna hit some Spanish for you. I promise. I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna say it well when you see me next on this stream, but I promise I'll practice.
Jake's
I
gonna come
love.
back and be like, "Hola, como
Oh
estas?"
yeah, we're gonna just start ripping out some phrases right off the rip. You know what the worst part is? I have friends that speak Spanish. I should be so much better at this than I am. I shouldn't have told you guys that. I should have kept that to myself. But yeah, I have friends from South America, and I met them through futsal, and that's part of the reason I'm so in love with this sport.
Right.
Is it's brought me friends, it's brought me a community, close friends, that are still my close friends to this day. But I traveled with them, and they're from South America, so the pronunciations are a little different, and
Yeah.
that threw me for a loop. And everything I thought I knew about Spanish was out the window, and now I have no confidence. So I
Well,
got to
well,
build that
you
confidence back up.
you also met Argentinians who speak a lot differently.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, and a lot of the people I still talk Spanish with are Argentinians. So that's
They
kind of my
speak
circle here.
the Espanol.
Yeah. You know what threw me off was those double L's or SHs down there,
Do they
and the
really? I didn't
Y's
know
are
that.
SHs.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So like chicken bean pollo, from what we learn here in our Spanish classes in America to kind of match the Central American stuff, is pocho.
Pocho.
So they start
I
talking,
did
and the
not
words I got
know
all this
that.
confidence in are no longer the words I thought I knew, and it just blew my
Interesting.
mind. Yeah. And same with the Y. So beach being playa is
Mhm.
plasha.
Pasha.
So I had to really pay attention, and
Interesting.
my brain was smoking. I mean, just right out the ears, melting. What do you
What
guys
do
think
you guys?
about Barcelona out of the
Yeah.
Champions League? I didn't watch that game today, but I saw that. I think Barcelona was ahead going into that game, so I was a little surprised. And PSG kind of traditionally chokes about this time of the year. Uh, uh, Caminante, I followed Barcelona really close back in the day when they had their power team there, and it was easy to cheer for them. So I am admittedly a bit of a bandwagon fan on what started me following Barcelona, but um, I always cheer for them. I love the coach. I think he's a genius. They got a young nucleus there. So
Hmm.
even though they're out, I think they've got a strong future. If they can figure out this financial business and kind of get out of the trouble they're in, then I think they got a great future.
Yeah. Who's
But
coaching there
admittedly,
now?
I've been kind of focusing on futsal since it's so much going on right now for the World Cup.
Who's coaching over at Barcelona?
Xavi?
Oh, is
Xavi?
he really?
Xavi? Oh,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying that wrong.
Javi.
Which he didn't have a great look today because he blamed the refs for the loss, which I hate to see. I
Ooh,
never like to
don't do that.
see when a
Don't do
manager
that.
blames the refs. But
Don't do that.
oh, you don't like Xavi? Oh, shoot. Well, pretend like you didn't hear what I just said.
I'm just kidding.
I I like him, but I also, I follow very casually. My brother follows La Liga really close. Anytime I go to my brother's house, it's on the TV. It's
Oh
always in the
wow.
background. Um, he's a big La Liga guy, and he's a big Barcelona fan as well. So we typically have that going on in the background at least a little bit. Um, what I thought was exciting this week was Bayern Leverkusen winning their first Bundesliga. I thought that was really cool. I
They
love
won the
seeing fresh
Bundesliga?
faces. Yeah, first time ever. And
Wow.
I think that Bayer has been around. It was like 170 years or something like that.
Yeah,
The
there's some
club has
old
been around,
clubs over there.
and then they've got Europa League action tomorrow too, and they're kind of marching on there. So they're in the quarterfinal and up 2-0 against West Ham. So,
Eh,
but yeah, they
West Ham.
locked up Bundesliga today or yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Wow. Good for
So,
them.
so not only did Bayern trade for Harry Kane, but they apparently also traded for his curse of not having a trophy. His chase for hardware continues.
Man, that Harry Kane welcome over there at Bayern Munich was like pomp and circumstance and commercials and articles and newspaper. Oh
Yeah,
man, they were like big on him.
they he's going to be the Dan Marino of football.
You think so?
I At this rate, I mean, how old is he now? He's in his 30s, I know for sure.
Oh, you want
He is 30.
Guardiola back?
Yeah, they might. We want everybody wants Guardiola. That guy is a genius.
Pep, good old Pep.
I think he's going to go coach AFC Richmond now that Ted Lasso's gone. I think he's going to go.
Are you being serious? Or are you kidding?
No, I'm just messing around.
Oh, are you serious? What do you know? I mean, I wouldn't put it past Pep. He's crazy.
I love that he was in that show.
Right.
Like that for some reason
That show's
tells me nothing about his
class.
character in real
That's a
life,
really
but for
good
some reason I
show.
was like, man, this guy can take a joke too. Like this is awesome. This is really cool. Man, guys, it has been a great day of
Yeah.
futsal. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to wrap it up here. Great
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
Thank you guys for hanging around and chatting with us. Come back tomorrow. Let's do it again. We'll be on at
Yes.
8 p.m. Eastern time,
Yes.
6 p.m. local time for Nicaragua. Luke, I don't know when you're jumping on with me, but you're welcome to jump in anytime.
Yeah. Let me figure out life and kids and stuff like that, and it'll probably be similar to tonight, where I have to take care of life and then jump in a little bit.
Absolutely no worries. I'll hold it down and do some goofy streaming mistakes until you get here for some comedic effect, and then we'll, just like we plan.
That's right.
As always, it's all according to plan, guys. Don't worry.
That's right.
I know it
Well,
looks like we don't know what we're doing.
If it was shiny, it would be boring.
Exactly. Yeah, we gotta have some fun, keep it lighthearted. So that's what we do here. We're gonna continue to do it. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Have a wonderful night. And until I see you tomorrow, don't forget to play with your soul.